Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today I want to share with you a sort of before and after story, a reflection, if you will, on how my thoughts and feelings with regards to Batman, my joint favourite superhero along with Spider-Man, have matured and evolved over the years. And actually in a way that they haven't had to with Spidey. This is because I'm a bit older now, I suppose, but also due to a key event in my life, and that is meeting and marrying my amazing wife and hearing her reflections on The Dark Knight. I just can't help now but look at Batman in a slightly different way, especially when he's being a bit stubborn, shall we say. A bit stuck in his own particular ways, and it just brings a huge smile to my face. It really makes me kind of love the character even more. You know, I love the fact that actually he is in many ways a perfect human specimen, but also he's a deeply flawed human being as well. And this is best illustrated in a particular conversation between Batman and Superman following a terrible event in Gotham City. In the 1998-1999 run of the Batman comics, we had a huge event, and that began with Cataclysm, the story which saw Gotham City razed to the ground by an earthquake. This cataclysmic event just destroyed the city of Gotham. The earthquake shook it to its foundations, with only certain buildings, for example Wayne-owned buildings, having been earthquake-proofed, standing, and in between these buildings was the rubble of society, people eking out a living, the rogues gallery carving up the city as their own territories, and then a whole series, a whole epic story called No Man's Land, which charted Batman's quest in particular to solidify and reclaim Gotham, and also actually a joint venture with him as Bruce Wayne, trying to get people in the UN and across the world to actually reconnect with the city, to bring much needed aid and rebuilding capacity to Gotham. In some ways it kind of reflects the way that we see Gotham City in the movie The Dark Knight Rises, where Gotham is cut off from the rest of the world by Bane, and actually the armies, the federal army, is enforcing that isolation. That's actually what happens in No Man's Land as well. So Batman is isolated, the city is cut off, and in this wreckage there is a little conversation that happens between the Dark Knight and the Man of Tomorrow. Now, I don't know off the top of my head exactly which issue this conversation occurs in, but it is found in volume 4 of the No Man's Land collected editions, and I'll just quickly put on screen which comics are included in that volume. So it's somewhere in there, and it happens when Superman, or rather Clark Kent, has come to Gotham City. He's come to survey the destruction, to see how people are doing, and in disguise as Clark, he can't help but be helpful. He bumps into someone who's trying to grow some crops amongst the devastation, and as a Kent, as the son of a farmer, he does his best to help out. He also gets into some trouble as well, and it's not long before Batman is aware that Clark is in the city, and the following conversation happens. "So, you're not working alone," says Superman. "I have all the assistance I need." "Glad to hear it. Your boys are here too?" "What can I do for you, Clark?" "You can show me the community garden, if you've got time. I think I'm safe to be seen with. Went out of my way to make sure I wouldn't stand out too much. How'd I do?" "The toes of your shoes are scuffed, but you forgot to scuff the heels. Your shirt is dirty, but bears no evidence of sweat or epidermal oil, secretion stains. And no one around here has smelled like deodorant or soap or laundry detergent for over 5 months." "And if I asked someone who wasn't the world's greatest detective?" "You look fine. Why are you here?" "Mostly because I got a tip. that the techno-terrorist group Locust are still trying to make Gotham its private lab. Probably an aerial germ assault by small remote drone craft. Mostly. Only you would stop on the word mostly in a sentence that contained aerial, germ assault, and drone craft, Bruce. Anyway, listen, I hear Gotham's been having a dry spell. Only you would come to no man's land to talk about the weather, Clark. I suppose there's no point in asking you to lighten up? I suppose not. See anything up there? Nothing I can't handle. And then they both say, excuse me? They both run off, deal with something, and come back. Sorry about that. We're more alike than you care to admit, Bruce. I'll take you to the garden, but it ends there. This is a war zone, and I progress with strategy. I have to be at least 5 moves ahead of my enemies, with 5 contingency plans and 5 backup plans for those contingencies at all times. I appreciate that we may have similar goals, but we are not alike, Clark. A variable like Superman throws off everything. I thought I made this all clear the last time you visited. But I've never visited before. Excuse me. Not me, Bruce. Clark. I've learned a lot in the past few months. A lot about myself. You mean when you tried to take over the entire world? You're lucky I haven't seen that kryptonite sample you gave me since the earthquake. That's a joke, right? That's got to be a joke. You were saying? I was saying that I came back to Gotham to check up on Locust, but also to walk among the people, to really try to understand what happened here, and what will help. I understand that an external quick fix won't heal this city, and I understand that some problems can't be solved from the stratosphere. And I've also come to understand that I can't do everything by myself. So you wanted to make sure I've learned the same lesson? Bruce, I have all the faith in the world that you'll take care of Gotham. I just wanted to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. I have a good team in place, Clark. Thank you for your concern. You're sure there's nothing you need right now besides rain, that is? I have everything under control. Okay, well, then if you don't need me, others do. I'll see you soon. Good luck with everything. And Superman flies off. And then it begins to rain. That little story, that little interaction between Batman and Superman is just magnificent. I used to be firmly on Batman's side of things. I used to see it as him sticking up for the integrity of his method. He needs to know what is and isn't occurring in Gotham in order to be effective, in order to be able to have backup plans to his backup plans. And a variable like Superman just throws everything up in the air and makes Batman less effective. This was Batman sticking up for his right to protect Gotham as he sees fit and doing things how he knows best. And I thought, yeah, that's it, that's right, Batman. You may be a little bit grumpy, but that's okay. You're doing the right thing. But I mean, since I met my wife, whenever this idea of the Batman Bruce Wayne duality comes up, especially for example in the Gotham TV series or in the Lego Batman movie, she can't help but say, why didn't Alfred take him to therapy? Why didn't Alfred, with all that Wayne money, ensure that Bruce and his trauma didn't continue well into his 40s, you know? And I can't help but kind of agree, you know, and I look at, you know, so in the Lego Batman movie, you know, Bruce going, no, you know, just trying to avoid family, trying to avoid connections. It's stubbornness, and that's exactly what we see in that conversation. That's really how I see that conversation now, is Bruce being stubborn, not wanting to accept help. Arguably because of trauma, because he doesn't want to rely on someone that might not be there when he needs him, like his dad, for example. He can't rely on Superman because Superman may well be busy just at the moment that Batman needs help. But realistically, when Superman's free, and Superman will be able to tell Batman, I'm going to turn up, in an hour's time or something. Superman could be really helpful. He could help to clear rubble. He could help to get people to medevac or something like that. He could be a useful ally, and even, God forbid, help Batman to, and also the Bat family, to police and manage and corral the gang chaos that is engulfing Gotham still. And also providing rain, presumably. I think that's what happened at the end of the conversation. Clark flew up into the sky and used beams or something to create rain, or affected the sky somehow. I think, whether literally or just figuratively, that it really hints that Clark and Superman could be a force for good, a much needed factor in Gotham City. But Bruce is holding on to his way of doing things. He's a damaged man, and he's therefore a stubborn man. And at the end, when you see him just standing in the rain, I just imagine he's just sort of shaking his head like, poor Clark. Clark just doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it. And actually, the following page does show Bruce looking down for a moment, as though actually he does have self-awareness. He is aware that he is being stubborn. But I imagine that moment only lasts briefly. I imagine he probably very quickly steels himself again for his crusade for Gotham City, and that's really it. That's basically how my understanding of Bruce and Batman has matured over the past 10 years, I suppose. And I think that probably mirrors myself as well. I think I've become a little bit more willing to accept help, to reach out to others, to talk to people when I have a problem, or when I need maybe another perspective on something. And in some ways I just wish that Batman now could just come along on that journey with me too. Now, of course, in recent years he's had a son. He is seemingly a bit more emotionally stable and healthy, and not quite so tied down by stubbornness. But in the late 90s and at a point when I was really engaging with Batman, he was just a damaged, stubborn, traumatized man, and he needed some professional help. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Please do comment below if you've had similar reflections on Bruce and his Dark Knight alter ego. And as ever, guys, until next time, do take care. Bye bye.